Hello, my name is Ronnie Bevan, and I'm going to read to you my autobiography titled Brotherhood Hashish, The Story of Ronnie Bevan. Part 1. My Unusual Childhood. Chapter 1. Leroy Kindred Good. I wasn't always Ronnie Bevan. Leroy Kindred Good Jr. is the name they gave me at birth. I was born in my grandparents' house in Sergeant Bluff, Iowa, where my father and 18-year-old mother, Bertie Mae, lived in the room my dad grew up in. Dad and both of my grandparents couldn't hear or speak, so Mom communicated with them by signing, talking on your hands. Things didn't work out for Mom and Dad. After I grew up, Mom told me why. She said that Dad had a hard time getting work, and she worked part-time, but they could never get ahead and had to rely on his parents for money. Mom wanted more than that, so after 2 years of trying to make it work, she caught a bus to Arkansas and moved back in with her parents. Sadly, I stayed in Iowa. Without a dime, Mom couldn't take me with her, but planned to come back and get me as soon as she could. At home in Arkansas, she started working immediately, and then discovered she was pregnant. Time went by, and Ricky came along. A year and a half passed quickly. The Goods took wonderful care of me, and great-grandfather John, who lived in the downstairs bedroom, adored me. Mom said he would sit and stare at me for hours. John came from a poor family and spent his youth growing up in a shack on the Missouri River. I don't know the details, but somehow the Goods took him in. Initially, his name was John Smothers, and if the Goods had kept his name, Rick and I would be the Smothers brothers. Working as a postman all his life, John was admired by the thousands who knew him. He passed during the winter, and soon after, my friend appeared that no one else could see. There have been times in my life when an angel watched over me, and I've always felt it was John. With John gone, I had no one to talk to, so signing became my sole means of communication. Too young to spell, I quickly learned the shortcuts. Mom worked every day, and at night she took care of Ricky. I remained in Iowa. Shortly after my 3-year-old birthday, I became infected with the polio virus, along with hundreds of others in and around Sioux City. My leg hurt so bad they called Mom and told her she had to come. 3 days later, she took me to the hospital, and one of my first memories is being pried from her arms. They quarantined me to a room all by myself in the isolation ward at Mercy Medical. The doctors were unable to do anything other than keep an eye on me. My family came to the hospital often, but had to watch me through a window. After 2 months, they released me, and at home I found all my clothes and birthday presents had been burned. People were really scared because no one knew how the virus was spreading. The epidemic continued to grow in numbers each year until 1953, when Jonas Salk discovered the polio vaccine. Unlike many others who died or became disabled, I beat polio, and the damage is limited to my right side from the hip down. Lucky for me, it's hidden from the sight of most people. Mom traveled back and forth from Arkansas several times during my quarantine, and on one of her trips she crossed paths with an old friend, Stan Jensen. They began dating and fell in love. A week after my release, Mom came to Iowa, picked me up, and took me to Arkansas. Now we were together. Over the winter, Stan couldn't find a steady job, so when summer came, he packed the car and we left for California. Chapter 2. Ronnie Jensen. I'm guessing Stan and Mom didn't want to think about Dad every time they said my name, so they changed it. On our drive to California, they changed my name to Ronnie Jensen, my first alias. When we arrived, Stan rented an apartment close to Long Beach Memorial Hospital so Mom could take me to physical therapy. The treatment hurt, reminded me of the pain I endured when polio twisted my bones and muscles, so I convinced Mom not to take me anymore. No longer needing to be close to the hospital, we moved in with my aunt and cousins in Lakewood. A year later, we rented a house in Long Beach where I remember sitting at the dining room table listening to stories on the radio. Stan worked in an electronics shop, and one night he came home with a TV. It was 12 inches across, black and white.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?